What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the TF Movie Show. This is just Webster's. We're talking about the Transformers film franchise. This is episode number 75. And as you guys already know, the official title for the 7th installment in the Transformers live-action film franchise is now Transformers Rise of the Machines. What the hell? No, that's Terminator 3. I mean, Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So now abbreviated as ROTB. Okay, there was ROTF, Revenge of the Fallen, ROTJ, Return of the Jedi, ROTM, Rise of the Machines, and now we have ROTB, Rise of the Beasts. And of course, this suggests that this is going to be the Beast Wars movie. Now, the original working title for this film was Beast Alliance. So it was already suggested that it's not a full-on Beast Wars movie. This is their introduction to Beast Wars. We're going to gradually introduce the Maximals and the Predacons into this film franchise by bringing in our beloved characters like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, who are Autobots, and have them form an alliance with the Maximals. So they're introducing them in. It's not a full-on 100% Beast Wars movies where we're going into it just full-on Beast Wars. No, we're gonna ease the fans into it for those that are not fans of Beast Wars. But anyways, what we're here to talk about is a recap of the official announcement from Hasbro and Paramount. TFW2005.com was involved and was present for this presentation, and they put a report on everything that they know, and this is pretty exciting. This is a lot of information, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just read everything that they say here, and I'm going to comment on each one. I'm going to put my thoughts out about everything that they say here. Now, there are spoilers. They put it as spoilers, but we're very early into production, okay? This is principal photography. We're very early on, so I don't consider any of these really spoilers. This is stuff that is like, it doesn't really affect the plot or how it ends or who dies and who survives and what kind of surprises we're going to see. It's not going to affect any of that. These are just basic things. They call it spoilers because if you don't want to know anything about this film, then stop reading, okay? But, this is just minor stuff, okay? So let's just jump right into it. Okay. So this is the 7th live-action film by Hasbro, Paramount, and E1. It's a joint production with E1 Films, another film studio. The events take place in the year 1994, and also in Peru, where they're going to be shooting on location at Machu Picchu and, of course, Montreal, Canada. Montreal will stand in for Brooklyn, New York. Okay. Now here's the spoiler type of information. Okay. So they showed off a legacy video from all the previous films. Lorenzo de Bonaventura talked about the history. Stephen Campbell Jr. Talked about how he was in high school when Beast Wars came out. And then they started seeing faction symbols. The faction symbols consisted of Maximals, Predacons, Terracons, Autobots, and Decepticons. Okay? And then they revealed that the title is called Rise of the Beasts. So there's going to be lots of new stuff. New action, new characters, and something called tribes. And I guess the tribes would be the Maximals, Predacons, and the Terracons. Those are the tribes. 3 different tribes, okay? Stephen Campbell Jr., who directed Creed 2, he understands nostalgia, so he's going to bring about that nostalgia as well as introducing new elements into it, okay? Which is a very good approach. The story continues after the events of Bumblebee, so this is a follow-up to Bumblebee. I won't say that it's a sequel per se, like a direct sequel. It's a follow-up, right? Because it continues where they left off. So yeah, it is a sequel, but it's not the continuing adventures of Bumblebee. Like, I don't want to call this Bumblebee 2. It's a follow-up because, like, the story continues for the rest of the, like, in this universe, in the same timeline. You know what I'm saying? So this one's set in 1994. So 7 years after the events of Bumblebee, because Bumblebee took place in 1987. So 1994 is 7 years later. I thought it was 1992. So as always, the Transformers lore is tied to human civilization. In this case, they have the Incas. Okay, so, of course, there's the Incan pyramids, but it's going to be talked about about the history through Cybertronian eyes. So essentially, it's kind of the same thing how they talked about the pyramids from Revenge of the Fallen. Okay, so it's got a similar type of element there. So Maximals and Predacons will be prominently featured in the movie. Also, we will see Terracons. Predacons and Terracons are not allies. So I asked that question in a previous episode. Terracons and Predacons are not allies. Terracons are the main baddies. They hate everyone. Predacons are reptilian in nature and are the enemies of Maximals. Meanwhile, Terracons are a threat to them all, but more in the opposition of Autobots. Okay, that makes lots of sense. As for Decepticons, they're probably going to keep the Decepticons to a bare minimum. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Decepticons. They didn't mention about the Decepticons in any of this. They mentioned more about the Maximals, Predacons, and the Terracons being the main bad guys. So Decepticons are probably going to be a very, very supporting, probably going to get a lot of Decepticons destroyed, okay, by the hands of Terracons and Predacons, okay? Optimus Prime is a lead character, and his alt mode is an upgraded version of the G1 look from Bumblebee movie. Think Bumblebee Earth mode with a gray torso, gray windshield flaps, and with a gray upper shoulder parts that lead into smokestacks. Peter Cullen will once again resume his voice acting duties. This will show how Optimus becomes a leader. He was in the Bay movies. Why does he have a connection to Earth and humans? Okay, that's really, really cool. In a way, that's kind of a given that Peter Cullen will return for voice acting duties. And then he goes on his way to become a leader, and he has the connection to the humans and Earth. What I am most concerned about, and I shouldn't be too concerned, is that there's going to be changes and upgrades to the Optimus Prime look, which is normal. It's very, very normal. From a merchandising standpoint, because they got to sell more toys, have different looking products. I get it, right? But I'm just curious, how is it gonna look? Okay, is it gonna? I hope it doesn't fundamentally change the look, the main look of Optimus Prime. Like, I know people are gonna complain about it. I might complain a little bit, but I'm gonna get over it. Okay, Bumblebee is a classic Camaro with off-road extensions, second generation 70s Camaro, raised Z28 badging, external framing, chunky wheels, light bar on top, a la Ratchet. Okay, I don't even know how to picture any of that, visualize any of that without actually seeing it. But once again, Bumblebee gets another upgrade. He's going to keep on getting upgrades as time goes by. Now, they mentioned Mirage. Mirage is a silver and blue Porsche 911, so not Jazz. Okay, so Jazz is not going to be that. But at least, like this first line, I feel a little bit like, okay, this is an homage to Jazz, but since Jazz was already featured in the first film, then okay, let's just make him call Mirage, okay? His characterization is similar to that of Age of Extinction Crosshairs, anti-authority, can transform into multiple types of vehicles, so maybe he starts off as a Porsche 911, then goes off to Formula 1, Ferrari, who knows? Multi-vehicles, not sure if they were talking about his history and brand or actually in this movie, so that's up in the air right now. RC's robot mode is close to G1 and is a Ducati 916 motorcycle. Red with rose pink with white highlights, classic head, Ducati bike racing number on the leg. So I'm happy about the classic head, okay? At least make the characters more recognizable. Nightbird, okay, now this is interesting, is included as a Nissan GTR. She is also Terracon, purplish gray in color. She's a modernized version of G1 character in the same name. Face mask with robo-looking hood. Switch sides, allegiances are flexible. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Scourge is a leader of the Terracons and is a trophy hunter like Lockdown from Age of Extinction. When he kills, he rips the faction's insignias and tattoos them onto his body. 4 smokestacks on the back, all smoking. Claw hand with electricity, black gray tone with orange pops. Not black convoy looking, but probably a truck due to smokestacks in art. So obviously there's going to be some inspiration from Scourge as he was in Transformers Robots in Disguise. Okay, so that's going to be very interesting. I'm very curious about that. Air Razor, now we're getting into Maximals, is robotic bird. Rusty bird mode, steampunk-esque silhouette, is very real world, but plated, layered, looks old, been here a bit, blue glowing eyes. Rhinox, well, needs no introduction, also very rhino-shaped, plated, also steampunk and rusty, Ironhide-like, wants to use his horn. Again, looks old metal, been here a bit. So it looks like, based on my speculation, it looks like the Autobots will meet the Maximals later on, sometime in the movie, and then he will learn that they've been around for a long, long time. Maybe they even did not even know about them, or perhaps they will explain that, okay, I've heard of you guys. Yeah, and you guys are really real. Like, I've only heard of you guys in myths and legends, but you guys are actually real. So maybe they're gonna do something about that, right? And then, okay, fans have seen Optimus Primal before. Remember that TLK CGI concept art? Yep, but with much more fur. So remember that concept art that was going around. I've seen it many times. I've put it on my videos many times. So with much more fur. He's a leader of the Maximals, very protective of those who are under his protection. You don't mess with Primal. Rusty underframe. Looks like random patches of skin and fur layered on top, but like he's been through some stuff. He's a leader of the Maximals, equal in stature of Prime. So that's still very, very cool. I'm curious, is he going to be... like, are we talking about two different characters here? Okay? Like, that's the big question. Is this Optimus Prime, or is this Optimus Primal? Is it two different characters? I'm really curious about that. Let's talk about the humans. Dominique Fishback. Elena, researcher for artifacts, works at a museum. Boss keeps stealing her thunder. So a lot like Laura Haddock's character in Transformers Last Night. Because after all, we are dealing with Incan history. You know, it's a running theme in all of these films, okay, except Bumblebee. It's a running theme where there's always an artifact, or there's also always some kind of human history that's connected with Transformers lore, okay? So I'm not surprised there. Anthony Ramos, Noah, father figure to brother ex-military, trying to find his way, good with the electronics, trying to get by. He was a Beast Wars guy. Name dropped a couple characters, both from Brooklyn, happy to mix TF with the real-life neighborhood. Ramos got his license for the movie. So it's cool to know he's very resourceful. Like, he's not just some guy, some average kid. I want to see more resourceful characters that know their stuff. So I'm very happy to know that there's more layers to his character and not just somebody who wants to matter, okay? So there's something real going on there. They didn't mention if Beast Wars voice actors are going to be back. The thing is that typically when voice actors get brought back, in like especially for a production like this, a Transformers production, they mention it like later on, like much later on, like during the production, like in the middle of the production, or later on when they do the actual voice acting, you know, which is in, of course, audio post, right? So, yeah. A lot of characters we haven't seen yet. All the Maximals are hard to bring to screen. Rhinox wants to smash, but also Brain of Operation shows connection with the original tune, which is good. How to actually try to disguise themselves. So there's like what they've listed here was probably some of the main characters, but there's more supporting characters that we haven't seen yet. Obviously, with $200 million, a budget that, of course, goes to the action, the explosions, the stunts, but a lot of the CG work, all that rendering, all the VFX artists, the people at ILM, you know, that's the chunk of the budget, because this is a very CG-heavy type of film. So we haven't seen, like, what they've listed here is not everybody, just more characters. But I like the fact that they're at least introducing some of the main characters, okay? Even though we don't know who's going to be main character, who's going to be supporting character, who's going to have more screen time. It's very difficult to put all of them in with a lot of screen time, but the fact is that they have named some main players, because they did say that, well, the Scourge is the leader of the Terracons. That's a big deal, okay? Nightbird is also there, and she's probably going to be the right, you know, I mean, the right man, no, not right hand, right hand, okay, like as in like the second in command, you know what I'm saying, of the Terracons. So that's really, really cool. They are shooting in Peru for 6 weeks, so 6 weeks in Peru. That's going to be big. So it's kind of like when they were in Egypt, they shot for an extensive number of weeks for the big Egypt battle, and they were in Jordan for Revenge of the Fallen. So Peru's going to be huge. I assume that it's going to be where the big battle is going to take place, okay? Because, you know, they got this giant playground there in South America, unlike, you know, in Montreal having their big battle, city battle. You know, we've seen that before in Dark of the Moon and the first film. So I think it's cool that it's going to be globetrotting, and if you're going to go travel to, you know, other parts of the world and exotic locations, might as well have the grand finale there. So it looks like that's what's going to happen. This is a spectacle story. Big action movie with deeper character story style from the B movie. So it's really cool that they're combining the two. The key was it's not a small budget film. This is summer blockbuster level stuff, and that is it. All right, so I'm very excited. I'm very excited. We are back, and I'm still reading that some people are really not a fan of this whole Beast Wars thing. They want to see like the Michael Bay style, the cars and the planes and the tanks. They want to see that like 100% that, and I'm just telling you guys that we are still going to see that level of action and awesomeness, and the cool transformation and the robot action. Is just that it's going to be slightly different, and I think you guys should give it a chance. And the thing is that no matter how much you deny and say that you're not interested, you are interested, okay? You want to know. You're going to watch that trailer and you're going to be like, okay, you have my curiosity. Then you're going to watch the film, then you're like, okay, that was pretty... I mean, I can't speak for the film, but I'm just saying that that's the typical response. That is, okay, I'm not sure about this. It doesn't sound good to me. And then later on, you start seeing the filming, the behind the scenes, the marketing, the toys, all that starts getting revealed. And then you're like, okay, opening day, I'm there. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. I just wanted to provide you my feedback about what we now know, and I want you to provide your thoughts on that in the comment section below. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.